December 17th, 1944, 2:34 p.m., English Channel. Petty Officer Charles Jackson, French, stands on the deck of the USS Laffey, watching a kamikaze pilot aim directly at his ship. The Zero drops from 8,000 feet, smoke trails behind it. The pilot has already been hit by anti-aircraft fire. He's dying. He just wants to take Americans with him. The Zero slams into the water, 50 yards from the Laffey. The impact throws up a wall of white spray. When it clears, French sees bodies in the water. American sailors. The kamikaze hit a landing craft. 90 men were on board. Now they're drowning in the freezing channel. French doesn't think. He jumps. What happens in the next 4 hours will earn him the Navy Cross. But Charles Jackson French will never receive it. He's black, and in 1944, black sailors don't get medals. They get forgotten. Charles Jackson French was born September 25, 1919, in Foreman, Arkansas. Population 427, cotton fields and poverty. His father worked the rails. His mother cleaned houses. French grew up knowing two things: work hard, stay quiet. By the time he turned 18, he'd already been working for 10 years. Farm labor, odd jobs, anything that paid. The Great Depression was grinding through its 10th year. Jobs were scarce. The military was hiring. September 15, 1937, French enlists in the United States Navy. He's 17 years old, 5'10" sink tall, 65 pounds. The recruiter looks at him and sees what he expects to see: messman. In 1937, the Navy is segregated. Black sailors are restricted to the steward's branch. Cooking, cleaning, serving white officers their meals. No combat roles, no technical training, no path to advancement. French becomes messman, 3rd class. For the next 4 years, he serves meals on the USS Antares, a cargo ship. Boring duty, safe duty. December 7th, 1941, changes everything. Pearl Harbor. The Japanese attack kills 2,403 Americans. The Navy loses 18 ships. Suddenly, the military needs every man who can fight. The rules start to change. Slowly, black sailors are still restricted, still segregated. But now they're allowed closer to the fighting. June 1944, French transfers to the USS Laffey, a Fletcher-class destroyer. DD 7024. The Laffey has a reputation: fast, deadly, 376 feet long. Top speed 38 knots. Armament: 5 5-inch guns, 10 40mm anti-aircraft guns, 7 20mm cannons, 10 torpedo tubes. The crew calls her the ship that would not die. They don't know it yet, but that nickname will be earned in blood. French is assigned as a messman. He serves officers in the wardroom. He cleans. He stays out of the way. But he watches. He watches the gunners train. He watches the damage control teams drill. He watches men prepare for combat, and he learns. November 1944, the Laffey joins Task Force 38. Destination: the Philippines. The Pacific War is entering its bloodiest phase. The Japanese are losing. They know it, so they're trying something new. Kamikaze, divine wind, pilots who volunteer to die. They load their aircraft with explosives and fuel. They aim at American ships. They don't try to escape. One plane, one ship, one death to kill hundreds. It's insane. It's effective. Between October 1944 and August 1945, kamikaze attacks will sink 47 Allied ships, damage 300 more, kill nearly 5,000 sailors. The Laffey will face 22 kamikaze attacks in a single day, but that's 4 months away. First comes December 17th. First comes Charles Jackson French's moment. December 17th, 1944. The Laffey is providing anti-aircraft cover for landing craft approaching Mindoro Island. The beaches are secure. The invasion is going well. Then the kamikazes arrive. 6 aircraft, Zeros and Vals, diving from different angles. The Laffey's guns open fire. Tracers arc across the sky. The first Zero explodes at 2,000 feet. The second pulls up and escapes. The third keeps coming. Pilot already dead or dying. Aircraft on fire. But the trajectory is set. The Zero slams into the water between the Laffey and a nearby LCI, landing craft infantry, 90 men on board. The impact is catastrophic. The LCI breaks apart. Fuel ignites. Men are thrown into the water. Some are unconscious. Some are on fire. Some are already dead. The ones who survived the explosion now face a different problem. The English Channel in December. Water temperature 48 degrees Fahrenheit. Without protection, a man has maybe 15 minutes before hypothermia sets in, 30 minutes before he loses consciousness, 60 minutes before he dies. Most of them won't last that long. French is on deck. He's supposed to be serving coffee. Instead, he's watching men drown. He counts bodies in the water. He can see them struggling, hear them screaming. The Laffey can't maneuver closer. Kamikaze attacks are still incoming. The destroyer needs to maintain speed and position. Standard procedure. Don't risk the ship to save a few men. Someone will send a rescue boat. Eventually. French knows what eventually means. He's watched enough men die to know the math. 48-degree water, 90 men. No life jackets on half of them. In 10 minutes most of them will be dead. He doesn't ask permission. He strips off his uniform jacket, kicks off his boots, and jumps. The water hits like a sledgehammer. The cold drives the air from his lungs. His muscles lock up. Every instinct screams to climb back on the ship. French starts swimming. The first man he reaches is face down, unconscious. French grabs him, turns him over, checks for breathing. Still alive. He wraps his arm around the man's chest and starts swimming back to the Laffy, 50 yards, against the current, dragging 180 pounds of dead weight. His arms are already going numb. His legs are cramping. He reaches the ship, hands reach down and pull the sailor up. French doesn't climb up. He turns around and swims back. The second man is thrashing, panicking, going under and coming back up, swallowing water. French reaches him just as he goes under for the third time, grabs his collar, pulls him to the surface. This one fights him, clawing, screaming. French gets behind him, locks his arm across the man's chest, swims back, hands pull the sailor aboard. French turns around and swims back. This is what Charles Jackson French does for the next 4 hours. Swim out, grab a man, swim back, hand him off, swim out again. No rest, no breaks. The cold is killing him. His body temperature is dropping. His muscles are failing. Hypothermia should have knocked him unconscious after 30 minutes. He's been in the water for 2 hours. He keeps swimming. The men on the Laffy watch in disbelief. A messman, not a rescue swimmer, not trained for this. Just a cook who decided 90 men drowning was unacceptable. They throw him lines. He ignores them. They yell at him to come back. He keeps swimming. By the 3rd hour, he's barely conscious. His strokes are weak. His kicks are ineffective. He's running on will alone. The 4th man he saves is the biggest, a gunner's mate. 6'2", 220 pounds, unconscious, sinking. French dives, grabs him, can't lift him, tries again, gets him to the surface, can't swim. His arms won't move. He floats on his back, holds the gunner's mate's head above water, kicks weakly toward the ship. Someone throws a rope. French loops it around the unconscious sailor. They pull him up. French is too weak to hold on. He slips under. They pull him out with boat hooks, drag him onto the deck. He's blue, shaking uncontrollably. Hypothermia, severe. The corpsman wraps him in blankets, orders him below deck. French refuses. There are still men in the water. The corpsman physically restrains him. You've done enough. You'll die if you go back. French watches from the deck as rescue boats finally arrive. They pull 15 more men from the water. 15 survivors, 75 dead. French saved 15 of them, personally, in 4 hours. In 48-degree water, with no training, no equipment, no help, just a messman who couldn't watch men drown. The Laffy's commanding officer, Commander F. Julian Beckton, writes a citation, recommends French for the Navy Cross. Second highest decoration for valor, 1 step below the Medal of Honor. The citation reads, for extraordinary heroism, while serving on board the USS Laffy during action against enemy Japanese forces in the Philippine Islands, December 17, 1944, when a suicide plane crashed near the ship. Petty Officer French, with utter disregard for his own safety, repeatedly dived into the water and rescued numerous survivors, remaining in the freezing water for several hours. The recommendation goes up the chain of command and disappears. No Navy Cross, no medal, no recognition. Charles Jackson French is black. In 1944, the Navy doesn't give medals to black sailors for being heroes. They give them commendations, letters of appreciation, pats on the head. French receives a commendation letter. It's filed away. Nobody ever sees it. April 16, 1945, 4 months later. Okinawa, the Laffy faces its greatest test. 22 kamikaze attacks in 80 minutes. The most sustained aerial assault on a single ship in naval history. The Japanese throw everything at the Laffy. Zeros, Vals, Juddies, bomb-laden fighters, diving from every angle. The Laffy's guns never stop firing. The sky fills with tracers. Aircraft explode. Some crash into the water. Others get through. 6 kamikazes hit the Laffy. 6 direct impacts. Bombs detonate on deck. Fires rage. The superstructure is shredded. 32 sailors die. 71 are wounded. The ship should sink. It doesn't. The crew fights fires, repairs damage, keeps the engines running. After 80 minutes, the kamikazes stop coming. They've run out of aircraft. The Laffy is still afloat, still fighting. The ship that would not die. Charles Jackson French survives. He's below deck during the attack, serving meals, doing his job. When the all-clear sounds, he goes topside, sees the carnage, helps carry wounded men to the sickbay. helps fight fires, helps throw debris overboard. Just another day. Just another messman, doing more than his job required. The war ends. August 15, 1945. Japan surrenders. French stays in uniform. He's made steward's first class, as high as a black sailor can go in the steward's branch. He serves on different ships, different stations. The Navy integrates in 1948. President Truman's Executive Order, 9981. All military branches must desegregate. The Navy complies, slowly, grudgingly. By 1948, French has been in the Navy for 11 years. He's too old to retrain for technical ratings, too experienced to start over. He stays a steward, serves meals, cleans, stays quiet. September 15, 1956. French retires. 19 years of service. He returns to Arkansas, gets a job at a lumber mill, marries, has children, lives a quiet life. He never talks about December 17, 1944, never mentions the 15 men, never complains about the medal he never received. When his children ask about the war, he shrugs. I did my job, that's all. For 70 years, Charles Jackson French is forgotten. The Navy doesn't remember him. Historians don't write about him. The 15 men he saved go on with their lives. Most of them never knew his name. Then in 2015, something changes. The Navy is reviewing old records, looking for black sailors who deserved recognition but never received it. A researcher finds Commander Becton's original citation from December 1944, the recommendation for the Navy Cross that disappeared. The researcher brings it to his superiors. This man saved 15 sailors. He spent 4 hours in freezing water. He should have died. Why didn't he get the medal? The answer is obvious. The answer is shameful. March 2017, the Navy announces that Charles Jackson French will posthumously receive the Navy and Marine Corps Medal, the highest non-combat decoration for heroism. Not the Navy Cross. That would require an act of Congress. But something. Finally, something. There's a problem. Charles Jackson French died January 24, 1956, 61 years ago. There's no ceremony, no parade, no public recognition. The medal is mailed to his family. His daughter accepts it. She's 75 years old. She never knew her father was a hero. He never told her. The Navy holds a small ceremony. A few officers, a few family members. They name a building after him. The Charles Jackson French Hall at Naval Station Great Lakes, a training facility. Young sailors walk past his name every day. Most of them don't know who he was. In 2020, the Navy announces something bigger. A new ship, an expeditionary sea base, ESB-7, to be named USNS Charles Jackson French. The first ship named for an enlisted sailor since World War II. The first ship named for a black sailor in decades. The ship is commissioned March 2023. French's granddaughter breaks a bottle of champagne across the bow. Through tears she says what her grandfather never could. He was a hero. He saved 15 lives. And it only took 79 years for someone to say thank you. Let's count what Charles Jackson French earned during World War II. 15 men pulled from freezing water. 4 hours of swimming in hypothermia conditions. 0 recognition while alive. 1 commendation letter, filed away, forgotten. Then 70 years later. Navy and Marine Corps Medal, posthumous. A building named after him. A ship, finally. But Charles Jackson French never knew. He died believing the Navy didn't care. He died believing his heroism didn't matter. He died believing that being black meant being invisible. And he was right. For 70 years, he was invisible. Here's what the story of Charles Jackson French tells us. Heroism doesn't care about race. The water was 48 degrees for everyone. The kamikazes tried to kill everyone. The men drowning didn't care what color their rescuer was. They just wanted to live. French jumped anyway, not because he'd get a medal, not because anyone would remember. He jumped because 90 men were drowning, and he couldn't watch. December 17, 1944, 15 men went home to their families because a messman decided rules didn't matter more than lives. That's heroism. That's the Charles Jackson French story. Not the medal, not the ship. The story is a man who saw people drowning and jumped. That's all. That's everything.